Dear viewers, the Chowkidar has finally netted the man who cheated Indian banks to the tune of a whopping 13,000 crores. Nirav Modi, the man who tried to loot and scoot, has been arrested in London. Yes, that's right. The Chowkidar has walked the talk and caught fugitive Nirav Modi. And the court refused to grant him bail, terming him a flight risk. After this, the opposition's attacks, calling the Prime Minister a chore and accusing him of helping looters flee, seems utterly undaunting and hollow. Look at these facts which prove that our Chowkidar is on the job. The case very clearly is of the PNB bank scam, where the accused is Nirav Modi. He's cheated the banks to the tune of 23,000 crores. The crackdown is that he has been arrested. The extradition process has now begun. When we talk about the Kingfisher loan scam, Vijay Mallya, who cheated banks to the tune of 9,000 crores, has now seen a crackdown in the form of the extradition case that is underway in London. He's been tagged a fugitive offender under the new law that was passed under the NDA-2 government. The Augusta Westland scam has seen accused Christian Michel, who has been accused of receiving kickbacks worth 3,600 crore rupees. Now, he's been extradited to India and is currently lodged in Tihar jail. When we talk about the ICICI Videocon loan scam, Chanda Kochar, one of the accused, including Deepak Kochar and Venugopal Doot, we have seen CBI file an FIR against the trio, grilled, and accused. All of them have been forced to face the law in Mumbai. Now, let me quickly go across to our reporters who are joining us live at this point in time. We have with us our Senior Editor, Internal Security, Nikunj Garg. We have with us also National Affairs Editor, Srinjoy Chaudhary. I also want to introduce over here Jonathan, who's with us live, and Danish Khan. But before I go across to our reporters, these are some of the political reactions coming in on the story.
बीजेपी कह रही है कि चौकीदार नीरव मोदी को वापस ले आया है और लोग
अचीवमेंट बता रहे थे. कॉलिंग इट एज एन अचीवमेंट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट.
ये अचीवमेंट है तो जाने किसने दिया?
I see this government, Modi government, first sends the people queues outside and let them enjoy, spend money in foreign countries.
इलेक्शन के बाद देखना यही हुकूमत इसको वापस छोड़ देगी.
All right, let me go right back to our reporters who are joining us live. I want to come to you first, Nikunj. This is now a very high-profile case where we had seen when the first videos of Nirav Modi had come, we saw opposition coming out and taking digs at the central government, saying they hadn't quite done enough. But now, with this kind of action that has been taken and the fact that the court has even refused to grant bail, very clearly, it seems that the opposition has little to talk about, at least at this stage. Nikunj, can you hear me?
Well, Madhav, can you please repeat your question?
No, Nikunj, my question was very simple.
That
a few days ago, when we first saw a video of Nirav Modi surface in London after several months of being absconding, the charges were that the government and the government agencies had not done enough. But now that there has been a decisive action and even a court order where he has been declared a flight risk and has been denied bail, very clearly, those charges of the opposition would ring hollow.
Well, Madhav, the fact is that the political slugfest in a case of this magnitude, where the sums involved are mammoth, can never be, can never probably be kept away. Fact of the matter is also this, that you could not have forced the hands of the UK agency. So if Nirav Modi was found in a journalistic endeavor roaming around on the streets of UK, Indian agencies, Indian government couldn't have probably done much about it. They were pursuing the extradition case, and that's what all they could have done. They had done their initial bidding, and they could have only waited for the UK agencies to act. Now, once Nirav Modi has been arrested, has India fought its case stoutly? They have fought it stoutly enough, so much so that the Crown Prosecution Service, on the strength of the material supplied by the Indian agencies, both the ED and CBI, have been able to, for the first time, get him behind the bars. So he has not only been handcuffed, he has been put in jail and not gotten bail as it is considered to be a norm in the extradition cases in many, many Western jurisdictions, including United Kingdom, particularly when the offenses involved are economic and are not of grievous, violent nature. So in that sense, I would call it a law enforcement success. Could the government have moved a little bit faster on this? Could the government have shown a little more vigorousness? Critics will obviously say yes. And the government will say, when you are dealing with a sovereign nation, when you're dealing with foreign power, when you are dealing with a foreign country, you obviously have to move in sync with their systems.
Well, absolutely.
Their
Several
protocols.
things which are beyond the control of the government of India, particularly when it comes to law enforcement in the United Kingdom. I want to take this question across to Jonathan, who's live with us. Jonathan, you were there in the court, and what is very significant is that the court has noted the fact that Nirav Modi could be a flight risk and therefore has not granted bail. Given the fact that he has been traveling around despite the red corner notice that has issued against him by India, that seems to be a decisive action by the court there in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I completely agree with our colleague Nikunj there. Actually, this is highly irregular and highly unusual. One is constantly placed in mind of the parallel case, the precedent, if you like, the case of Vijay Mallya. Mr. Mallya was arrested and immediately bailed, and on every occasion he arrived and left in his swanky car, and at the end of every single pre and post extradition hearing, the magistrate Marabatna would simply say, well, I grant you bail again. There was never any question whatsoever of Vijay Mallya being behind bars. Mr. Nirav Modi is tonight behind bars. He's either in a police cell waiting to be transferred to a prison, or he's already in a prison cell, and he will spend the next 10 days of his life in a tiny prison cell. And I think, we use words like denial of bail and so on. These words are a little bit sterile. Let's just keep that image in mind. This billionaire diamond dealer is in jail.
Well, certainly a person who is wanted by India for that 13,000 crore scam. I want to quickly go across to Srinjoy as well as Danish. Srinjoy, and the fact is this, that the government will come out and say that diplomatically, and as far as the investigative agencies are concerned, the government of India has been pushing this case, and in that light, it is a success not just of the investigating agencies, but also of Indian diplomacy.
Yes, the fact that Nirav Modi will be in jail for 10 days is really the big moment, because nobody actually believed, nobody in India, in the government believed that he would not get bail. Everyone thought that, well, yes, he will be on bail and this will be take a long while, and perhaps in a year or so we'll get Nirav Modi back to India. The way things have happened with Vijay Mallya, even today, during the day, in the evening, early in the evening, there was a belief in the Indian government that perhaps he will get bail. So the fact that he has not got bail is actually evidence that this government has really pushed this case very seriously. And all those pictures, the video pictures of Nirav Modi walking around London, living in Tottenham Court or Road area, wearing that jacket.
Those are pictures that shock the nation, Srinjoy, and certainly, of course, that's something that certainly won't happen for the next 10 days, given the fact that Nirav Modi will be behind bars in the United Kingdom. I want to quickly take this question across to Danish Khan, who's also with us. Danish, what can we expect from here on? How will this case proceed, and really how far are these extradition proceedings really going to take? We've seen a long drawn case as far as Vijay Mallya is concerned. Is it a long while before we finally will see Nirav Modi, or can hope to see Nirav Modi on Indian soil?
Well, yes, Madhav. This case is, of course, rather straightforward as compared to Vijay Mallya. Vijay Mallya's case, in some way, also had a leg to stand that this was a case of business failure. But in Nirav Modi's case, it's a case of clear-cut fraud. So what essentially will happen is Nirav Modi will take out these excuses from this bag, saying that there is political victimization and there is human rights abuse and the problem of the jails. We got that indication today when I sat right through those 40 to 45 minutes in the court. His lawyer told the judge that it's not a simple case of fraud. He was getting that particular facility by the Punjab National Bank, and that one fine day the bank decided that Nirav Modi cannot be extended this service. So they are trying to present this fraud perpetrated by Nirav Modi on the Indian taxpayers as something that was due to him, that was done after due process.
Well, absolutely shocking line of argument there. Absolutely shocking line of argument there. Danish, we will certainly be tracking all those developments with you and Jonathan, as well as Srinjoy and Nikunj. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. I want to quickly go across to our guests who are joining us live on the story. With us is national spokesperson of the BJP, Nalin Kohli. We have Shehzad Poonawala, lawyer and activist, joining us here in our studio. Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate, joins us live from Delhi. We also have Tanveer Ahmed, spokesperson of the JDS, with us. Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst, joins us from Chennai. And we also have Ratan Sharda, author, joining us from Mumbai. I want to go right across to you first, Sanjay Hegde. Do you concede that this, at some level or the other, is an achievement of the NDA government? Notwithstanding what has happened in the past, I'm not even getting into that, Sanjay Hegde, but today certainly the fact that the court there has not just denied bail, he was arrested last evening, somewhere or the other, the government and the agency's efforts will have to be credited for that. Sanjay Hegde.
Well, why do you forget the past? But okay, I'll let you have a free pass on that. The point here is that the Indian government had nothing to do with the Telegraph stalking him in London. The Telegraph lawyer, journalists were actually following up a tip from their fashion bureau, and then they spotted the man. The very fact that video was recorded by British journalists, and that there were other people in the United Kingdom who could likely fall prey to this man, must have weighed in the magistrate's mind. Look, in a UK court, no amount of diplomacy of a foreign power really works. You may use that to fast track things within the UK ministries. But in a court, the court goes simply on the evidence, and it's on the consideration of. But Sanjay,
there was a red corner notice against him. In fact, I just want to, if you'll just allow me to interrupt you for just one moment here.
Like to come in for
there was a red corner notice that was issued. There were investigating agencies that have submitted before the court, and it's on that basis, isn't it, that the court has decided he could be a flight risk. So can you really say that the government has done absolutely nothing, Sanjay Hegde?
No, did the government do anything before the Telegraph stepped in and brought that video? There is material on record that the UK Foreign Office was asking for material and that it was being dealt with in a routine manner.
Okay.
Has there been any dedicated
I'll let the BJP
prosecution or investigating team which was tasked
with let the BJP respond to that. You've asked a pertinent question, Sanjay.
One little thing.
Yes. Let him respond to that, then you can submit further. Nalin, he says his allegation is that the government has done nothing. Your response?
Yeah. Mr. Sanjay Hegde and I both practice law in the Honorable Supreme Court. He's a designated senior advocate, and I must profess, as a colleague of his at the bar, I'm deeply amused, even disappointed by his comments. They don't display a lawyer speaking. He's speaking like a politician. So I'm going to now speak first as an advocate and then as a politician. His own statement is that the UK courts do not look at the government, or be influenced, they will look by law. That obviously means they have gone by evidence. Who provided the evidence? The Telegraph? Is the Telegraph a prosecuting agency? Is the Telegraph who's moved the extradition treaty? Is it the Telegraph that has set out the red corner notice? I mean, that would be a really unique argument, to put it politely, for Mr. Hegde to bank on. End of the day, it's the government of India which has presented that evidence before the court. And the court, which by his own admission does not go on anything except the evidence, is obviously looking at the evidence. And then to say that what has the government done? So I think this is a self-defeating argument coming from him.
Okay.
Let's come to it otherwise also.
Okay.
The Telegraph is a newspaper.
Right.
If Times Now had gone there and done the same story, would you say that Times Now is responsible for replacing the government of India?
Well, I'm not going to get into that argument. I'm not going to get into that argument, but I want to quickly bring in other panelists as well. I want to get in at this point of time, Dr. Suman C. Raman. Dr. Suman C. Raman, on the day that video of Nirav Modi came out in the public domain, the argument that was made is the government has not done enough, it has not followed up enough on this case. But following that, obviously the wheels of government have turned. Obviously there have been efforts that have been made by the agencies. Otherwise you would not see this kind of a result in the court, as Nalin has very clearly said at this point of time, Suman C. Raman.
No, I think there are two things here. One is the routine job which needs to be done has been done, and to that extent one has to give credit to the authorities and the government for having done that. But to proclaim this as a huge victory, I think is way too premature. Two important points. The extradition request was made in August last year. We are now in March this year. And in March this year, we have got a arrest warrant, which means that the man is going to be in custody for a while the extradition proceedings start. Mr. Malia was arrested in October 2017. We are now in March 2019. 18 months later, there is yet no information as to when we are going to have Mr. Malia back. So while the wheels of justice have ground, they have ground slowly, and I don't see this as any great achievement. It is a duty of the Indian government to file for extradition against somebody who has carried out such a huge scam.
But the question then, Suvansi Raman, is how many have got this extradition in the past,
as a huge
particularly
victory.
from the United Kingdom?
Nothing else to say.
Even this much action, how many times have we seen it in the past? And I'd like to also bring in the fact that I was referring to earlier. In fact, I said that I won't mention what has happened in the past, but I'm forced to mention over here Christian Michel, Rajiv Saxena, all being brought in by this government.
No, UAE is a very different issue altogether, and you know there were wild allegations as to why the UAE was cooperating, including about what happened off the coast of India when
how does it matter, sir?
The Coast Guard
how does it matter, sir? The fact is that they are wanted in India and they've been brought back to this country. How does it matter? And if they are wild allegations, why are you repeating them in the first place?
No, sir, it matters. It matters because if the other matter. No, it does matter because it was possibly a quid pro quo for some favor rendered at a very personal level, which is a different issue altogether.
Shehzad, do you buy that argument at all? Do you buy that argument at all? Do you think that this entire charge of Chowkidar Chor hai, in a sense, falls flat with all of these actions that have taken place over the last several weeks, Shehzad?
I want to congratulate Sumansi Raman for entering the club of compulsive contrarians. And let me tell you why. There is an entire gamut of actions that you need to look at in totality. The Fugitive Economic Offenders Act was brought in to seize the properties of these fugitives, never done before. About 5,000 crore worth assets was seized of Nirav Modi. Vijay Mallya, who was giving the loans, what letters were being written, Menu Kingfisher nu bachana hai was said in the aircraft by Manmohan Singh, and then Vijay Mallya was his extradition has been cleared by the UK Home Secretary. That also no credit to be given. Crown Prosecution Service, on the basis of material given to them by prosecuting agencies, has put forward a good case here. They have done so in UAE to get people like Christian Michel, Deepak Talwar, Saxena, so on and so forth. All of these actions combined together, doesn't it show that there was somebody in the past who was giving out the loans? And I can testify that Nirav Modi was meeting Rahul Gandhi when loans were being cleared to both Mama Bhanja, even though they were being red flagged by Allahabad Bank director. And today one person is acting as the recovery agent and you call him Chowkidar Chor hai, and today when the Chowkidar has caught that scruff of the neck and brought him to prison, you don't want to give him credit. I don't think contrarians credit is required.
Okay. I want to quickly bring in Tanveer Ahmed as well. Tanveer Ahmed, Shehzad is saying the entire argument or the entire line that you slogan that you have of Chowkidar Chor has falling flat, because clearly this is one second, Sumansi Raman, I'll come back to you. Just a second, 1 second, please. Tanveer Ahmed, the entire slogan of Chowkidar Chor has falling flat is what Shehzad is saying over here, because you have a situation where there's actually action happening when it comes to several of these high-profile corruption cases.
Madhav, firstly, as Mr. Hegde said, the credit goes to Mr. Tim Brown, who was from Telegraph, who have really found where Nirav Modi was, and he's the one who has really brought the entire thing to surface. And second thing, when Shehzad was taking a dip on so many other issues, let's really talk about Hari Prasad, who was a whistleblower in the case of Mr. Nirav Modi's case, who really brought the entire matter to surface and who also wrote letters to the PMO, several letters, and there was no action was taken for 4.5 years under the nose of Mr. Modi's government. He was looting more than, and our shares, our Punjab National Bank, I think Shehzad, please kindly give me some time, Shehzad. It's a request, personal request, Shehzad, please give me some time. 12,500 crores. It has been broken on this channel. 12,500 crores Punjab National Bank lost 1,451 employees of Punjab National Bank lost their jobs because one Chowkidar didn't really act. And today, just because of some reporters going and producing
Ratan Sharda, I want to quickly bring in Ratan Sharda. Ratan Sharda, is this election ultimately now, is it very clear that this will be an election which will be fought on Chowkidar Chor Hai or Main Bhi Chowkidar? Because ultimately that appears to be the narrative that is being set because of the kind of actions that have been taken, and we've seen the hard positions that have been taken by both sides, Ratan Sharda.
Chowkidar so gaya. Chowkidar was the
okay, Tanvir Ahmed, let someone else also speak. Ratan Sharda has been waiting patiently. Yes.
Sir, both Tanvir ji हो गया आपका नारेबाजी हो गई. Tanvir ji नारेबाजी हो गई आपकी. Please.
Continue, Mr. Sharda. Continue. Floor is yours.
Okay, now let me put my point. First of all, this lack of grace of opposition to credit the government where it is due goes against them. They should realize this. They are behaving like sour traditional mother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, finding fault with whatever the government does. Now tell me, if this is the case, who created the NPAs? We know the NPAs were created with lakhs of crores by phone a friend loans from the banks from the same Congress finance ministers, and these agents and these supporters of that same government. We remember what happened to Anderson. The Congress chief minister and Rajiv Gandhi escorted the gentleman who was butcher of thousands of people in Bhopal outside India. We should not forget that Uncle Quattrochi got his money back, was allowed to escape and enjoyed his money till the end because uncle of this Nehru family. So let us not get into all this. Point is, the case was strong. So for the first time, unprecedentedly, the guy is inside the jail for 10 next days. Everybody, including legal luminaries, including the media people, every said they will come out.
Okay,
and this creation of the case,
very clearly what Mr. Ratan Sharda is saying is that you're nitpicking. You're finding fault here where it does not need to be done. You should be crediting the government. That's the argument of Mr. Ratan Sharda, Sanjay Hegde.
The extradition was signed last year.
Given the fact that when I meant incidentally, Sanjay Hegde, I'm not talking about the past, I was referring to all these actions of Christian Michel, of Rajiv Saxena, all of which has transpired during the NDA 2 regime.
No, if he stops, I can speak.
Yes, go ahead.
See, the first point is that as far as Nirav Modi's LCs are concerned, they were all clear, they were largely cleared during this government. So let's not get into who was the Chowkidar, who was the Chor. The one thing I must warn them that, now we have a Chor Modi in UP, in UK, and we have a incompetent Chowkidar out here. So where does the Indian public look at who is the Chor, who is the Chowkidar, both named Modi? That is a matter of optics, which you will handle.
But Sanjay, you will have to admit the wheels of justice are finally turning.
Not only during this, not only before 2019 May, but even after that. This is not an issue which is going away.
Okay, let me take that question up with Nalin Kohli. Nalin Kohli, today you saw the reaction coming in from Priyanka Gandhi when she was asked about the detention or the arrest rather of Nirav Modi. She came out to say that, so what if he's arrested over there? Who let him out of India in the first place? So that's going to be really what the opposition parties are going to make a big issue of. They're not going to be satisfied with whatever happens with Nirav Modi because they're going to come out and say that it's this government that allowed Nirav Modi to escape in the first place. Nalin Kohli.
No, I think it's not just the opposition parties. There are a set of contrarians, and it's evident on this panel also. Then no matter what the Modi government does, they will find fault with it, which is okay. They are entitled to. The constitution gives them the right to find that fault. We are not even looking for a certificate from them. What we are looking for is very clearly the public at large to know that here is a government under Prime Minister Modi that's after the absconders. Who has gone after the absconders in the past? No one. So therefore it stands out in contrast. Now something is happening as never before. And Christian Michel is a good example of it. Mr. Talwar, Mr. Saxena, Mr. Modi, all of them. I mean, it's all a matter of this. There was another argument that came up with regard to making a comparison between Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya. Obviously, I haven't seen the papers, but one would hazard a guess that perhaps there are criminal within the documents given to the court in UK. They must be pointing out to something which is clearly a criminal conspiracy with evidence in terms of loot, etc. and also there must be deeper evidence of a criminal nature that would have prevented the flight, or there must be evidence also to show that he was already making plans to leave the UK.
Yes.
So we can't guess all this. These papers would be all before the court, and the court, as one would believe, across the world, all in democracies, whether the UK or India, are going to act on evidence and the contentions put forth, not on anything beyond that.
Right. I want to ask that question. Let me just ask that quick question to Suman C. Raman before I come to you, Shehzad. Suman C. Raman, that's the fact. At the end of the day, this government has argued this case. Now, very clearly in the Vijay Mallya case, the level at which the trial has proceeded itself is rather unprecedented, is what all unbiased watchers of that particular case in the United Kingdom have said, and they've largely credited to the work of the agency, which is the CBI. In this particular case, it's gone even beyond that. He's not even been granted bail like Vijay Mallya. So where is the question of not crediting the government with that? Suman C. Raman.
No, I think you have to look. Nobody said don't credit the government. The point is, I am saying that look, this cannot be seen as a major victory, because at the end of the day, it is about a government that it's expected to do this. I mean, after all, after having sort of...
But why has every government failed before this, Suman C. Raman? Why is it that every government has failed when it comes to high-profile offenders abroad?
Look, 1 second.
It's the first in the United Kingdom.
So this is like saying, that a government officer actually gave me the certificate that I was eligible for, and therefore it's an outstanding success. Now let's be very clear.
No, if every government before that had failed to do that, then there's obviously a marked difference.
When many of these LCs, as Sanjay Hegde said, no, 1 second. Most importantly, the man has not yet been brought back to India. This is just the start of a long process. We do not know how long
Sanjay, I am unable to understand why you are making this an issue, because clearly every government before this has failed. All right, I want to bring in Shehzad. All right, Shehzad.
Madhav, just one line. Let's assume Suman C. Raman's argument is right, that this is expected of the government to do. So this is expected of the government to do. I am taking your argument. Let me just pick one argument. On the one hand, sir, I have heard your argument. Sir, I heard your argument.
You raised a question. Now let him respond to that, please.
I am addressing that question.
He's addressing your question. Let him respond to that, please. Yes.
I am taking Suman C. Raman's. These are all procedural matters which the government ought to have done. Although in the yesteryears it was never done and it was never achieved any success, but this time it has been done. It's a matter of course. But tell me, at least passing the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act or getting a red corner notice issued, does not it betray some sense of political will to take a step? And my only point is, on the other hand, you have the likes of the Congress party which provide lawyers to Christian Michel Mamaji. So please, let us be very clear that on the one hand, you are dishing out loans to Vijay Mallya, you are actually supporting him when he was going in a crisis, and you are giving loans after loans, doing nothing to ensure that those loans were not given in a manner that was not deserved. You are meeting Nirav Modi and giving him loans and Mamaji loans, and Mamaji was being protected by the Karnataka government by not executing the non-bailable warrant. Mamaji was being protected by not informing the central government he is a flight risk, and on the other hand, you have a government which is doing its job, and you have a government which is showing political will. So you credit the government for that much.
Which year was the LC cleared?
They were not
even doing the job. The bulk of the LCs were cleared in which year?
Okay.
Sir, Nirav Modi का जन्म, विजय माल्या का जन्म, ये सब 2014 के बाद ही हुआ सर.
All right.
ये सारे लोग 2014 के बाद आए.
All right. I want to quickly go across to other guests as well. Tanvir Ahmed, as I was asking you a short while earlier, at the end of the day, it seems that the Chowkidar Chor Hai, which was the entire campaign that was being launched by the Congress party, which was in fact being followed by all the alliance partners, that entire narrative somewhere has been pricked now, because clearly it seems that the delivery that this government and its track record that this government has in terms of getting those who are on foreign soil, who are wanted by India, particularly in countries like the UK, where it has been very difficult to do so, the Indian government has made huge headway, Tanvir Ahmed.
Madhav, I would not say Chowkidar chor hai, but I would definitely say Chowkidar incompetent tha. Because of Chowkidar की लापरवाही की वजह से मेहुल चोकसी और नीरव मोदी ने इतना बड़ा कांड किया. चौकीदार पता नहीं हिस्सेदार थे या नहीं. We have to investigate. Probably there is also an option that चौकीदार हिस्सेदार भी था. And now Chowkidar dramebaz hai just before
I would like to respond to this after he
happening.
finishes.
I would certainly not believe until unless this man comes, goes behind bars. I don't think, when my friend Nalin Kohli was taking credit for getting Nirav Modi arrested and getting back to India, I think Mr. Nalin Kohli also have to take the part of the blame that it was under your regime. They looted the entire Punjab National Bank and the banking system was just watching because Chowkidar ne apni naukri karna bhul gaye.
Okay. Let Nalin respond to that. You made a serious charge. Tanveer, listen to his response now. Nalin.
This is really fascinating, even funny. Here is a case that a system has existed in this country, perfected under the UPA Congress, which is called the phone banking, which Prime Minister Modi calls. When in 2007, you had a total of 18 lakh crores given as loans by public sector banks. Between 2008 and 2011, it became 54 lakh crores. How? Pick up the phone, tell somebody, "Arey loan de do bichare ko." And that's how these loans came. These systems were weakened in the period of the UPA. Then comes Prime Minister Modi. From the first day promises, I'm going to clean the system. What does he do? He brings in the SIT on black money in the first cabinet meeting. As Shehzad was pointing out, laws are strengthened and we go after them. During this period, the agencies now start doing their job. The banks start doing their jobs, and you find that yes, these are the loopholes that are being created during an earlier government that are being misused by people, and the investigation kicks off. And when they abscond, their noose is tightened in a foreign country to ensure they come back. You are asking why is so much time passed? After 30 years, if the Congress party had wanted people to go to jail after 1984, it would have happened immediately. Yet, it's not the government of India under Prime Minister Modi ensured that a Sajjan Kumar must get convicted because the agencies were allowed to do their job. That's exactly what Chowkidari is.
Yes,
to allow the agencies and the systems to fall in place to detect the scams and then take action, not cover it up as the UP always did.
Very quickly.
Just one line. Till yesterday, nobody was taking the patient to do examination कि इसके शरीर में cancer है या नहीं. Today, the cancer of NPA was detected. So you're telling the doctor who's detected the cancer of NPA by doing the real expose of how much NPAs were there and not hiding it. You're telling that doctor today that you have given cancer. These are the people who are sitting on the panel.
Tanveer, respond to that, because it's not just about those abroad. It's also about the case of ICICI and several other cases within the country that this government has acted.
It is the same doctor which has implanted the cancer.
Sir, you discover your Hublot watch, sir. What time they
Okay. I want to give closing comments to Ratan Sharda. Yes, Ratan Sharda.
By this government.
Ratan Sharda.
You can't run away from that.
All right. Quick response to Ratan Sharda, sir. Closing comments.
Tanveer has got a new boss in Rahul Gandhi. Does he forget that after losing the election in 2014, Mr. Chidambaram had the gall with Rajan to have a new circular passed to allow Nirav Modi to import gold on modified conditions? Can you imagine bigger fraud than creating a policy after the election is lost? He wants to cover that up. So let us not, cut corners, and let us not just not allow the credit to go to where it is due. Yes, there is a mistake. Officers cheated the government. Let him go. But it's the government who brought them back. Not like Uncle Quattroki, not like Mama Michelle, not like Anderson Uncle.
Sanjay, you want to respond to that, because there are very serious charges against Mr. Chidambaram also, the then finance minister, and the gold scheme, which could have helped Nirav Modi.
80-20, yes.
The 80-20 gold scheme, Sanjay.
Including the Congress.
Nobody runs away from this country after representing the country along with the Prime Minister at an international forum like Davos. He is presented there as a leading captain of Indian industry.
He was invited by a
seen there with the best of Indian industry. You have an endorsement from the Prime Minister, and thereafter, is it any wonder that the system lets him run away? Which officer is going to stand up to a man who is photographed with the Prime Minister at Davos barely 4 days
earlier? At a private party by Nirav Modi, Rahul Gandhi was there wearing a white shirt and blue jeans. Rahul Gandhi was at Imperial Hotel in September 2013 when next day loans were given to Mama Bhanja. He was in the private party of Nirav Modi, privately invited by Nirav Modi. This is opposed to World Economic Forum's third party body inviting Nirav Modi. How is the two comparable? How did Rahul Gandhi, is Rahul Gandhi interested in bridal jewelry, sir?
Madhav,
Has Rahul Gandhi gone for all the jewelers' bridal jewelry programs? Why did he go for Nirav Modi's program? Loans were cleared. Rahul Gandhi must answer.
Gentlemen, I have to come in at this time. We are completely out of time on this debate. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us, particularly Shehzad Poonawala, Dr. Sumansi Raman and Sanjay Hegde. Request Tanveer Ahmed, Ratan Sharda and Nalan Kohli to stay on with us for debate number 2.